Welcome back to Pick and Roll. I'm Jackson.
I'm Jonathan.
We talked all things NBA from stars of the past to kind of what's going on today in the NBA. I'm pretty excited. This was a little different episode. We're talking about we're doing our favorite jersey rankings. We'll do our top five for this episode. So top five favorite jerseys in NBA history. Um, I'll do my list first, and then you can do yours, and we'll go from there. My first pick, I actually got it last Christmas. It's the Purple Rocket Hakeem Olajuwon jerseys.
Yeah.
They ordered that area. They're so beautiful to me. They're such a gorgeous jersey. I mean, true, like they look so nice. I feel like, and just Hakeem Olajuwon wearing them, like, one of the greatest centers of all time, being able to dominate in those jerseys, like, man, that would have been. I'm not a Rockets fan because James Harden kind of tainted that image for me, but
yeah,
I mean, that jersey is just awesome.
It is a nice looking jersey. Yep.
My second pick, I mean, I'm a Jazz fan. This one has to be on my list and has to be on a lot of people's list. The Purple Mountain jerseys, iconic.
Yep.
It's when you think of the Jazz, especially like any of the jerseys, you think of those eras, right? First of all, the Jazz were at the peak of their powers. Jazz were, the best in this time, right? The John Stockton, Carmelo. They look like awesome. Like,
yeah, they did.
They're such a gorgeous jerseys. So, I mean, they have to on the list. Like, that's like a given, right? Especially from a Jazz fan. Like, I'm just biased. So, my third pick. This one's kind of also kind of has some, controversy behind it a little bit. But I like the Piston jerseys, the one with the horse on them, like the sign one specifically. Also look really cool. I can't remember if it was if the Bad Boy Pistons played in them. I don't know if they did. I know Grant Hill for sure did.
Yeah, I don't think it was Bad Boys Pistons.
Yeah, so that's why I wasn't sure about it. But Bad Boy Pistons, no one really likes them, so I was a little curious. But this is a nice looking jersey. They look so cool, in my opinion. Every time I play 2K, and if I play the Pistons like randomly, I like randomize my team sometimes. And if I get the Pistons, that's my go-to jersey. My fourth pick, also a signed jersey, but I like the Grizzly ones that they had with the Pau Gasol era, I'm pretty sure. They also look so cool. I love those jerseys. Like, it truly embodies the Grizzly and, like, the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really, I feel like, play that part. Like, it's a grizzly bear. Grizzly bears are, like, scary animals. They really, like, showed that on those jerseys.
Yeah.
That was really cool. My final pick, so it's kind of like a deep cut. This is like really, if you know, you know, right? If you don't know, you don't know. The Bucks have this jersey. I'm not sure what years. It might have been like 70s. It's like this one like the buck on it, like a whole full buck. It's like purple, like a purple buck and like red, like a green jersey.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they're such a cool jersey. I really like those ones.
It's an old one. Yep.
Again, like whenever it's 2K, as the Bucks, if I like Giannis and Kareem, I love doing that duo. It's the jerseys are so cool. I really love those jerseys so much. Yeah, I guess honorable mention real quick is obviously pretty easy, the Rapper jerseys, right, with the actual rapper on them. Iconic, but it's also, I feel like, kind of a basic answer, right? Everyone says those are the best jerseys in the NBA, which definitely up there, right? Definitely like you gotta give it its props. But I feel like everyone says, oh yeah, the best jersey is the Purple Raptor jersey, so I had to just kind of deviate from that a little bit. Yeah, that's my list. I know, a little bit of a weird episode, but I, liked it. I really like the jerseys, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a good list. So when I was putting this together, I was kind of thinking two things. One is obviously the jerseys that you look cool that you would want to wear, and another one is kind of I guess like the team, not so much the player, but more like the team behind that jersey, like how iconic that team was, or how, as a Jazz fan, you either loved it or you hated seeing that jersey, type of thing. So that's kind of was my mentality going into this a little bit. So some of these we had that were similar. So I'll kind of go through some of those. I had the original Vancouver Grizzlies, the original teal that they had from 95 to 2000. That's on my list. I thought that was a gorgeous jersey. Even though the Grizzlies were atrocious to begin with, that was a really good looking jersey.
Yeah.
And honorable mention as well was the Raptors that came out at the same time. They were both expansion teams at the same time. and their original jerseys, well, both of them were just very hot, very nice looking. Along the same lines of how it looks, also maybe I just like teal a lot, but I like the teal horse from the Detroit Pistons that they had from '96 to '01. That was a really nice one. Well, just it looked clean, it looked nice. It's just a really good look. And I went through this again, looking through a lot of jerseys in history for each franchise. And I realized there's a lot of jerseys I didn't like. They were just so ugly out there. I'm like, wow, I'm glad we got rid of those, or they don't wear those anymore. But it was my favorites. And then looking at some of the ones that really just stuck out as like incredible teams or players or both. First one that came to mind was the road black pinstripe from the Orlando Magic. Like you think of Shaq and Penny and the stripes that they had. Not only are they really nice looking pinstripe jerseys, but the team behind it were just so dominant and scary that you hated. You saw the jersey everywhere because everyone was a Magic fan at the time. But that was a scary team, and they just looked so good in that. And then the other one of the most iconic jerseys in history, is the road red Bulls jerseys. When Bulls wore red and they came into your building, it was going to be a long night. Even if you scrape out a win, it was going to be an ugly night. You'd have to face Jordan and Pippen and Rodman, and it was ugly. But that's just such an iconic look. That road red, bright red jersey that coming into your building it just sucked as a Jazz fan. And then number 5, of course, being a Jazz fan, I had to put a Jazz jersey. I agree with you on the mountain. I love the mountain. I remember when I was a kid, and they first announced it. It was kind of a big deal because the Jazz hadn't had a lot of changes. They'd change colors every once in a while. Yeah. But to completely change the logo was kind of a big deal. So I was excited as a Jazz fan when that came out. But I put on my list the Red Rocks City Edition jersey from 2017 to 2020. Think of Donovan Mitchell and everything like that. The reason I put that, first, I love the jersey. It was completely different than what the Jazz had. But also when the Jazz wore that, their attitude seemed to change. Like they had a swagger to them. I think of not only Donovan Mitchell, but I think of Joe Ingles and Ricky Rubio, how they were like cocky and confident and had some swagger to them when they wore those jerseys. Yeah, it seemed to just like almost put like a superhero cape on, just the way they completely changed who they were, and that's why those jerseys became so iconic, and all Jazz fans just love seeing those. So that for me was top of my list, was the Jazz City Edition jerseys. So those were just fantastic. They were awesome. So that's my list.
Absolutely, those jerseys. I remember. I grew up on Donovan Mitchell. He's like kind of my guy as a kid. Him and Gordon Hayward. And I remember, after Gordon Hayward left, as a Jazz fan, I was like, man, this is the end. Like, this is where it's gonna be hard to be Jazz for the next couple of years. And then Donovan Mitchell comes in with those jerseys, and I remember the dunk contest specifically that year. Yep. The first year, and he really showed out in those jerseys. I remember, I think the first dunk I saw was like the 2 backboards. That one was just like. That whole year was just like it was so awesome. It was so fun.
And that jersey put a nice stamp on it too. Just it was great. It was a lot of memories tied to that jersey, and it was really fun to watch the team play in that.
It was a fun time. It was I think right after those jerseys got retired, that's when we went to, the bubble year. That I remember kind of after that too. We talked about this a couple of times, but the Donovan Mitchell versus Jamal Murray playoff series, they were just going at it. Almost I think every single game, they were averaging 50 points apiece. And it was like a dogfight out there. Yep. Pushed them 7 games. Unfortunately, lost. It's like a missed game winner. Right? It was really a dogfight. And I just remember that time was what a time to be a Jazz fan. Yep. But again, thinking of those historical jerseys, right? Probably thinks of the Heatles jerseys, or the ones with LeBron James and D Wade, and those jerseys. Again, they weren't the Heats have pretty nice looking jerseys. I'm more of the pink one with Dwayne Wade, and kind of towards the end of his career. What do you think of a jersey you hate to see on a court as a fan or a player, anyone in the building? It would probably be those, because the Heat would be destroying prime LeBron, prime D Wade. No, that must be scary.
And 2 others I didn't put on my list, almost I felt like they were too easy. probably because they're just some of the most iconic jerseys out
Mm-hmm.
there. Is just the plain Celtics green
Mm-hmm.
and then the Lakers yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Just the number of great players that have worn those jerseys, and they're just unchanged over the years. You can picture so many players with the names on the back of those
Yeah.
throughout the franchise histories, and they're some of the they are the most winningest franchises in the league. So
Mm-hmm.
just so many names on there, so many legends in those jerseys that I left them off the list purposely because they're almost too iconic. You know,
Yeah.
they're easy ones. They're the low hanging fruit. So I wanted to pick some that were maybe more forgettable on less people's list. But yeah, those are. I think when you think of the NBA, everyone's going to remember the Celtics green, the Lakers yellow.
Absolutely.
You know, of course.
Yeah. I mean, again, like a really easy answer would have said the Lakers gold, right? Because Kobe and Shaq were the Lakers gold. You have LeBron and AD, which not the most iconic Lakers players, but still, like great players. You have the short-term Lakers that played around, like so many great players wore the purple and gold and the green and white, right? Like it's just like those again, this like iconic teams in general, right? Like anything Celtics or Lakers related is automatically iconic. Down to like the championships and like the dynasties.
Yep.
Showtime Lakers, Shaq and Kobe Lakers, the Kobe and Pau Gasol Lakers, like just like these dynasties, really, right? Yeah, again, same for the Celtics. It just truly, yeah, like, again, low hanging fruit, really easy picks. You can say Lakers gold, and everyone knows they're talking about. You have to explain the reason. It just iconic. Yeah, this was a really fun one. But yeah, also like you're saying, there's some ugly jerseys out there.
There are, yes. I'm looking at some. The Denver, they have what called the city skyline. It was almost like a rainbow color, and it was ugly from like the late '90s. It was just
really
ugly. Oh yeah,
I kind of liked him. I don't know.
That would have been on my list for ugliest jersey.
I kind of like him. Yeah. I mean, yeah. One I hate is the Spurs wore it. I remember Tim Duncan was wearing it specifically. I think also this might have been Derek White might have worn it a little bit too. They had camo jerseys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those were not good. There's a couple on the Wizards like golden like shiny with jerseys with Gilbert Arenas. Those ones they have some jerseys that should not. Oh, even the Jazz ones from a couple years ago. They're like the neon yellow.
The highlighter yellow ones.
Oh,
those were cursed. Yeah, those were cursed.
Glad the Jazz kind of got the jerseys at least on pace, but. Yeah, there's a couple terrible jerseys out there, so that one must have been pretty fun list to make too. But we'll see you in a later episode. So this next episode, will be kind of interesting. This is gonna be we're gonna make the best 3 dynasties. Even if we don't like them, there's a couple teams I put on my list that I hated because they, destroyed us.
Yeah.
But there's a guideline. You have to have won 2 or more championships with the same core players. Obviously, a couple of changes between role players and staffing or whatever is okay, but generally like the same, it's like similar starting lineup ish. Should say the same, right?
Okay.
So honestly, this is kind of one I would do, right? There's 2 Warriors teams, right? So if you have like the Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Thompson, that's a different team from the early ones, but when they lost in 2016 and when we won 2015. So I think those are 2 different teams because one had Kevin Durant and he was a huge piece of that team. So those are 2 different dynasties, I would say. But even then, those early Warriors, because they only won 1 championship with that core, they wouldn't qualify. But yeah, 2 or more, to qualify. So unfortunately, the Jazz
not in the discussion.
You can't be in the discussion, which hurts my soul, but it's part of the game. So yeah, that's kind of what we got going on in the next episode.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. This was really fun to make. Really liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Right,
See you next time.